This is Steve Jurek with Esports, and I am here with UltraDavid. How's it going tonight?
Hey, it's going well.
You just commentated top 8 for Mortal Kombat X. How did you think that went?
I love it. I really like MK. It's one of my favorite games. And the top 8 was good. No surprise that Sonic Fox wins. But other than that, the characters picked, the regions represented, the youth of the people who are doing well in that scene right now. And on top of that, just the very exciting matches. There were a couple that were 0-2 that were turned into 3-2s on the other side. And even ones that were not like that were toe-to-toe a lot of the time. Great footsies, some tech I hadn't seen before, actually. You know, it's a pretty new game. Year sounds like it's old, but it's not. There's still new stuff. And there was a Smoke in Grand Finals played by Scar, character you don't see super often. So very cool to see him there and doing some things that you tend not to see. So I really enjoyed it.
Now, on top of commentating Mortal Kombat, you're also seen as sort of like the American voice of Street Fighter. Do you feel comfortable in that role? Do you feel like you fit that role?
Yeah, I guess. I suppose I've felt like that, not just in this context, but like I feel like sometimes it's sort of thrust upon me to have responsibilities like that, and again, not just here, but in friends and family life and stuff like that. So it's not a new thing, I guess. And yeah, I feel fine with it. I think when I was younger, I probably would not have felt okay with it, but I think I've gotten to the point where I am cool with that role to the extent that I have it. I guess I'm not sure that I believe it, but yeah, I think that's fine. I hope that there are other people too. I hope it's not just me. I don't want to have it be that I'm some exclusive representative, because I want to have different kinds of voices. I have a very particular role, right? I'm a commentator. I'm from a certain place. I played certain games myself, right? Like it's not the sort of perspective everybody has. So I want there to be different voices. But if I'm one of them, then that's cool. Yeah.
Well, your perspective is very unique because you do have that. You are a frequent commentator, so you get to see a lot of different players. You do commentate on Capcom's official channel, but you also have your own show, UltraChen TV. Do you feel like you ever have to bite your tongue when talking about Capcom on UltraChen because of your role?
The only thing that makes me bite my tongue is sometimes I'm not sure what's public info or not. So I'll try to play that maybe by making sure I don't say anything secret, by sort of not saying things that might not be secret. It's just hard to keep track of. But other than that, no. And I've spoken with them about it, and that's fine. I don't intend on being a one-game guy. I never felt that way. Even when I was younger, and I was playing Street Fighters, but I was always playing both Street Fighter 3 Third Strike and Super Turbo, and I was always also playing CVS 2, and I played Tekken and whatever else. So I don't want to give that up, and that's important to me. But yeah, I mean, I get the gist of your question. Like, is Capcom censoring me in any way because I'm representing them on the big stream? They're not. Yeah, they have never had any issue with that as far as I know. Yeah.
So, given that, what are your current thoughts on the state of Street Fighter V right now?
I really like the core gameplay. Okay, I really have a blast with it. I really enjoy it more than I enjoyed SF4 towards the end. Starting to get burned out. I mean, I saw it on Friday, right? I did top 8 commentary for SF4, and I liked it because I hadn't seen it for a while, so I'm sort of getting over that burned out phase. But with Street Fighter V, it's more of the kind of game that I think I like. I mean, I did a lot of work to find the option selects and stuff like that sort of define Street Fighter 4 later, but I like playing a game where I don't need to do that. And I like playing a game that has more, to me, interesting offensive ideas, and to me, more interesting character tools. So I really like the core gameplay. I feel like there are not enough gameplay styles represented yet. I was kind of hoping that Guile would be the Fortress character, but that seems like it's not playing out. And I was hoping that there would be more sort of core defensive characters. Even like Dalsum, not really a defensive character necessarily, right? He may be zoning, but you turn it into the offense. So I feel like that's part of it. That aside, it's a bunch of mess. I mean, it's a very disappointing release overall. Other than the gameplay, I think it's just a garbology. It's like a lesson in garbage. The online is bad. The menus are bad. The lack of arcade mode is baffling. The lack of a reasonable story mode at launch was surprising. These are things that everybody knows are important for casuals. It's part of why Mortal Kombat sells so well. They have legit first one-player options and a real story, and that's part of why it's so popular in terms of sales. So I was really hoping that they would do that. If they dropped it early in order to have it be on the Capcom Pro Tour earlier, then as a competitive player, that that's great. I like that they've recognized that we're an important part of their process, right? That's great. But at the same time, I don't want to overplay our role or our importance. We're not that many people. How many people are here? Maybe 5,000 people, which is great. But there are many millions of people who could have bought the game and enjoyed it, and they're not because of all these issues. So it's disappointing.
Do you think the June update is going to make any sort of significant change in that?
Probably not. I think that if there are changes to the game, that it's going to help. I mean, it'll help to some degree. I don't know that I expect it to become like a major seller in June, right? I don't think it's going to hit any of the top 5, 10 lists, right? It'd be very surprising. But it'll help a little bit. And as the game sort of develops, I would expect that over time more people will pick it up. And keep in mind with SF4, when it started, it was small. And even though it sold decently, the scenes were small, and SF5 scenes are way bigger than that. Order of magnitude, literally larger, right? So it's sort of, from a competitive standpoint, I think it's in an all right place, but I don't expect it to become what it maybe could have been, right? Who knows, but it could have been something much bigger if it had really catered to everybody rather than just to us. We'll never know, I don't think.
We also had a recent incident where the Pro Tour had to take action and ban a player. We really haven't had any sort of governing body to do that before. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree with the decision. I was very disappointed when that happened. That he's a friend of mine, and it was very disappointing. So I think it's the right call. I certainly want to make sure that everybody realizes that that's not the FGC overall, and that when something like that happens, we cast that out, to our best ability. So I like that. Having a governing body is a tricky one. It's a role that at times Evo or SRK thought about playing and just really didn't want to. There was so many problems that associated with it. Different tournament organizers have different agreements or different thoughts on how to do things. Not just that, right? That's everybody, I think, would agree on that. But how to run a tournament, what to expect there, the style of things, the feel of things, that's different everywhere, and I like that a lot. So I don't want to have homogenization of that stuff. I really like that I go to CEO and it feels like CEO. I go to Combo Breaker and it feels like Combo Breaker. When I go to NEC, that's a different thing too. I like that. I don't want to have that change. So if a governing body would do that, I really don't like it. But I think that there are some common sense ideas that could be helpful. It's not Capcom's job, and they can't really do it. Capcom is a part of the FGC. It's not the FGC. So I understand that their role is that player is banned from CPT, right? He can't enter CPT events. And beyond that, individual tournament organizers had to ban him if they wanted. That seems pretty reasonable to me. I like the idea of maybe promulgating some reasonable ideas for regulation, but then each of the states gets to have their own uniform commercial code in a little bit of a different way. I'm fine with that, but I don't want to have, I don't think, some strong central body. I don't want to have a Riot with respect to League of Legends. I just feel like that's a risk that I don't want to take. So,
what do you think is the biggest risk in going that route?
Somebody taking too much power, and the Riot is an example. They have too much control over things in that ecosystem. We're on top of this being a fun thing. A lot of people are trying to make it a business. That's what you're trying to do, and I'm trying to do that. And the people in this artist alley are doing the same. And tournament organizers, the teams, the players, we like it. It's fun, but we also want it to be a business, right? it's hard to run a business in a landscape that's sort of a kingdom, in a sense. Riot is the king in League of Legends, and they can come with ideas or thoughts, and nobody else can do anything about it. We'll have no legal recourse. That's dangerous because it means that an investment of time or money or other resources can be blown up at an instant. And that happened pretty recently in League of Legends. 3 teams got blown up, and there was no recourse. And regardless of whether they did something wrong, there was no appeals process. In the NBA, right, there's an appeals process. Or like Deflategate in the NFL, right, there's a process. So even though the commissioner has a lot of authority, there's still other things that balance it out. Riot's not like that, and I would hate to have a situation in fighting games where we're like that. We're historically even more decentralized, right? We're such a decentralized scene. Different games, different organizers, everything is sort of, we're a group, but it's of many different parts. So I want to make sure that we don't have a king, right? That's, from a business sense, it's a risk. From a personal sense of enjoying things, I like having the different styles. I don't want to see that stuff go away. So I like being decentralized.